Hi, I'm William Malik, and I'm here with your bit of security for May 28th, 2024. We're going to talk about disaster recovery planning, but it's going to be an entrance to talk about strategic planning in general. So I'd like to start by telling you a story. A few years ago, I had a client call me from Miami and say, "We'd like help setting up our disaster recovery plan." And I said, "Okay, what's your time frame? What kind of resources do you have available? What's the scope of the issue?" And he said, "Well, resources won't be a problem. He's got people and he's got money, but the time frame is a little tight because the hurricane is going to be making landfall in about 2 hours." I suggested he put the tapes in the trunk of his car and drive to Orlando. So here's the question: when do you plan? What's the right time in the process of acquiring and deploying some important resource to construct the rest of the plan around that resource? Disaster recovery, continuity of operations, backup, failover, fallback, and all of that sorts of things. Well, to put it in a different perspective, about 400 years ago, Peter Minuit landed on Manhattan Island and he bought the land from the Lenape for about 60 guilders, which was translated typically to about $24. He did not, however, start building the George Washington Bridge that afternoon. In fact, we didn't start building the George Washington Bridge until over 300 years later. Was that too late? When was the right time? What resources were necessary to build the bridge? What resources were available in 1927 that weren't available 10 or 20 or 30 years later? Would they have built it differently 20 or 30 or 40 years after? The point I'm trying to get to is think about the time frame. When you adopt a technology or modify a business plan, introduce new capabilities or shed capabilities, think about the knock-on effects. Change happens. Your plans need to be supple enough to reflect the change, but they need to be substantive enough that when something changes, the plan should meaningfully have to change as well, or otherwise, what is it really? Adrian Monk famously used to say, "I don't mind change, I just won't want to be there when it happens." Well, change happens, and as a responsible business leader, it's up to us to make sure that what we've put in place and are helping to sustain rolls with it. I hope that helps you think a little bit more and differently about strategic planning. That's my bit of security for the 28th of May. Be safe out there.